Today on GreatPlacesSeen, we reach deep into the American West, from El Paso across New Mexico and into southern Arizona, with trails and paths leading to amazing views of the desert, mesas, and tall mountains all around. We camp lakeside in the heart of it all, an unusual oasis rendering a beautiful mix of sights. The adventure west continues right now. Beautiful morning at Bal-mo-Ray State Park. Leaving very early though. Of course, this park proper is very small, but the water looks warm. What a pleasant stop at Bal-mo-Ray State Park. Wait, I said what? Let's back it up. 4 men in the early 1900s made their mark on irrigation here. And yes, the name immortalizes them. It's not pronounced as you see their names together, but rather as the name sounded. So it's Bal-mo-Ray. My apologies, but now we know. Bal-mo-Ray. And if you're in the area just off of Interstate 10, it's a good place to stop. Texas state parks, I have found, are very inexpensive. At each park, it was only $20 a night for a site, and most of those had water and electricity. Well, they all had water and electricity. One had full hookups for $20. Not bad. And of course, you pay a small service fee, what a lot of places now call a convenience fee. I don't know who that's a convenience for. Certainly not the person paying it. So let's say under $25 you can stay at a Texas state park for the night. Very good deal. That shadow almost makes it look like I have a fifth wheel. There's a picnic area, but I don't think these truckers are having a picnic this morning at 14 degrees. Maybe in the cab, but not outside. My phone apparently has gone back another hour. I guess I have crossed into mountain time. So I've gained another hour, which is really helpful. I'm still on Eastern time, at least that's how I'm operating. So now I have a 2-hour advantage. Yeah, that's always like 2 hours on paper. It's not real. If you've just jumped into this series, I'm driving across the country in early 2025 between the Tampa and Quartzsite RV shows. This is also the first time I've ever driven across the country. With cheap air travel over the years, I just never drove it before. This is one of those rest areas with the view to the mountains through the imaginary window. It has warmed up to 17 degrees. I just checked the inside of the trailer. Still feels comfortable. It's cooled off, but it's warm. I mean, to really get a sense of how big Texas is, you just have to drive through it. I've done 3 days, 3 nights. I'm still 100 miles away from El Paso. Wow. It takes a while to get across, doesn't it? Of course, I'm taking my time. I mean, I'm cruising at about 70 miles an hour. The speed limit is 80. You can get through Texas a lot faster than I'm doing it. But still, it's a long haul across. And what great scenery. I haven't even gotten to New Mexico yet. Already, I'm really liking what I'm seeing. Definitely enjoying this. It's satisfying to see this huge, great country roll past.
and watch the leafy east change to this desert and mountain landscape. Being early January, I can be here without the heat. And I'm one who enjoys the cold, so I'm okay with sub-freezing temperatures, especially when they're under blue skies and sunshine. Even with long stretches of highway through seemingness lonely land, there's actually always something to see, especially for this cross-country novice.
You can see the next town way down the road. That's one tank that's full. Please don't shoot the German car. The German car is just passing you. Only.
Finally, I've reached El Paso, which is the end of this part of my Texas journey. I've also been skirting along the US-Mexico border, with occasional views into our southern neighbor.
Freezing mark finally.
And the state line. Here's New Mexico's second welcome to visitors.
You just took a quick peek and said, "Have a nice day." Okay. So far I am.
I don't have far to move through this slice of southern New Mexico. My destination is just over the line in Arizona. But ahead of that, I have more scenery to entertain, and on my return east, I'll make a couple of stops in the land of enchantment. Mountains have become taller, and at least I can see them, as at times dust can become serious. I'm constantly reminded not only with warning signs, but those that are telling me what to do. I'd only hope people could read those when conditions are that bad. I'm off the highway not long after crossing into Arizona, and it's a short ride along Mount Graham on a road in much better shape than I-10. Last night I booked this site, which is nothing short of amazing. My neighbor later told me he thinks it's the best site. He was there when I arrived. I'm not sure why he didn't have it. Perhaps I reserved first online? Regardless, it's a super location, backed into the brush, all by itself with a view east across the river toward the Gila Mountains. It is, however, a non-electric site, It has water, but right now, the spigot's frozen. Well, for one night, I'm definitely okay. Part of my goal on this trip is to ride my bicycle across the parks where I'm staying, so I can see a lot more in a short time. Apologies, I left my bike helmet at home, but I have since left a second one that I have in the trailer for the future. Riding the bike is especially useful right now when I have less daylight in the winter. You know, sunset comes very early, so I'm off to see as much as I can. My first stop is a Mesa. This is Roper Lake State Park. That's my view out the back of the camper. And this is Safford, Arizona, off of State Road 191. This area is really interesting because you have several ecozones stacked very close together. That means different conditions, plants, and animals are within a short walk. They call it Sky Island, where areas at higher elevation are separated by drier areas, keeping each habitat from expanding. Each habitat? Well, yeah, it's an island. The lake has its own oasis of life on the vast desert floor. The mesas have another climate, before reaching grasslands at the base of Mount Graham. Going up are pine forests, then Douglas fir and Engelmann spruce before reaching the top, which is an all-fir forest. Where I'm standing is much harsher than the desert below. There's no shade on top of a flat mesa. It's constantly baked by intense summer heat from sunup to sundown. The winds are much stronger too. They whip across and dry the surface much more than below. And if it does rain, water rolls off quickly or evaporates from the hard sandstone mesa top. Amazingly, with conditions like this, some life has adapted, like dense creosote bush and other very hardy plants. From this mesa, our view is dominated by Mount Graham to the west, as it rises 10,720 feet, or over 3,200 meters. It's the fourth tallest in Arizona. To the north are the Gila Mountains along the river of the same name. The Palencia Range is to the east as it extends to Mexico. In the south are the Dos Cabezas, or Two Heads Mountains, with their distinctive twin peaks, complete with a ghost town and old gold mines. I have to remember now, I'm about 4,500 to 5,000 feet at elevation. I'm not used to that. I start bounding up these hills, and quickly I'm out of breath. So hopefully a little bit of acclimation over the next couple of days will help. Beautiful area. Let's check out a trail heading toward the other end of the lake and see what's along the way. 5 miles of trail wind through the park. Most are paths that connect the campgrounds and day-use areas together. The Moriah Mesa Trail is the loop trail I was on traversing the top of the mesa. That one's really cool. sky still has a lot of light as the sun hasn't actually set, but I'm in the long shadow of massive Mount Graham, so I'm riding back to enjoy the views from my site. It's cold, but completely tolerable, and I have all the trails and roads to myself. What a great sunset on the lake.
The sun is still very bright when it goes over the mountaintop here, so you don't get a kind of a golden sunset. But instead, I'll just look to the east and watch these mountains light up. It's quite a mountain, as we saw driving in.
Good chilly morning from Roper Lake State Park. Well, they said it was going to get into the teens, and it never quite did. It is 6 a.m. local time. And still quite dark out. My phone says that sunrise should be in an hour. So that gives me an hour to get ready and started for the day. Some breakfast and then get the trailer together and we'll explore a little bit. Let's see, battery is good. I opened up all the tanks so there's nothing in there to freeze. The Aldi system worked pretty well last night. The trailer wasn't particularly warm. It was in the 60s, which was comfortable, but it was enough to keep the lines from freezing. Fortunately today, it's going to warm up above freezing before I leave, and I'm going to refill my fresh water tank before heading out to Quartzsite, because I understand at Quartzsite, water is a little bit short. So I'm going to make sure that I have a full tank, and I also have a 5-gallon container in the car, and that'll get me through a good 4 days. is ice in there. Not a bad view for breakfast. YouTube is 20 years old. Believe it or not, my channel is 15. Yeah, I didn't post much until recently, and now I have so much, there's a second GPS channel. Check it out for campground tours and more. Well, there's some of the water that I drained from last night. Ice at the moment. Supposed to warm up pretty fast today. My tire was a little bit low when I pulled it out yesterday. Now it's really low. Fortunately, this park is small enough that I can take a hike. I have enough time. I'm just going to put the bike away when I get back and fix the tire in quartzite. No big deal. Well, good Wednesday morning from the base of Mount Graham in Arizona, Safford, Arizona. Let's take a walk around. Well, too bad about the bicycle, but not a big deal. Fortunately, these things happen. This is part of it. And you adapt. So today we're gonna hike. Still 22 degrees last time I checked at 8:30 in the morning local time. This is Central Mountain Time. Let's check out the lake. You can catch trout, bass, and catfish. Ever wondered how many fish were in the sea? Well, we know at least for these two lakes. Apparently there was no real trail around the lake. There's this access road, and that's what I was going to ride down. But just as easy to walk. This morning works out pretty well, actually. I have time to walk around the lake. Everything is packed up, pretty much ready to go as far as driving is concerned. The only thing that I'm waiting for is the temperature to rise a little bit and fill my holding tank. No worries about that today. I was looking at the map last night. There is a road that goes to the top of Mount Graham. That, of course, is closed during the winter. But during the summer, there are apparently several campsites up there. It looks to be very accessible and a very neat place to stay. Gonna have to check this out again in warmer months. There's also a road that goes up here on the neighboring peak. You have mountains all around, every direction. Quite a bit of natural land here in the park. See, it is a very still morning. No breezes blowing. So even though it is in the low 20s out here, it's very pleasant, very tolerable, and clearly not many people have ventured out. I guess they want to stay warm in their rigs. This was the mesa I was on top of yesterday. This day use area is called the Island. Appears rather tropical, doesn't it?
Roper Lake has largemouth bass, bluegill, catfish, and rainbow trout. Boats are limited to small electric motors, which the park says is great if you'd like to sailboard, kayak, or canoe. And nearby, Dankworth State Park has a 15-acre pond with bass, bluegill, catfish, and trout. The park brochure also mentions Kartchner Cavern State Park with cave formations found nowhere else in the world, and Tombstone Courthouse State Historic Park, both about an hour-and-a-half's drive away.
It's shaping up to be a beautiful day here in Safford, Arizona.
In 1972, Arizona's Game and Fish Department studied the possibility of building a very large lake in the area, about 3 times the size of present-day Roper Lake. But its findings and conclusions, well, they weren't good. It next looked at the potential for a large lake on the Dankworth property about 2 miles south of Roper Lake. But there, too, such a plan wouldn't work. The best alternative, they thought, appeared to be managing Roper Lake and perhaps in the future acquire the Dankworth site. And it did. Dankworth operated as a private catfish fishing lake before the state parks acquired it in 1975. Roper Lake was developed in the early 1960s as a private recreation area. The lake and property were sold to the Arizona Game and Fish Commission in 1969. Too bad I can't stay here at least a full day, but my next stop is Quartzsite, and I'm ready to be there. I probably should have had a full day at Roper Lake. If you ride along with me next time, it's going to turn into a full day I didn't expect.
Time to head back, get everything squared away, and on the road. This was a good stop at Roper Lake State Park, Safford, Arizona. Well, thanks for joining me on this scenic stop as I head west. Be sure to follow GPS to the next destination. All the water spigots were frozen at the campground, including my site. They have a brand new dump station here, and the water runs just fine, so I'm filling up here.